a big hello to all my dearest students. So here I am back with the second part of the chapter Rise of Nationalism in Europe. And as I promised you earlier, I'm trying to present this chapter in the easiest way possible. So part 1 we have already done. So today I'm going to begin with the second part where we are going to discuss about the unifications of Italy, Germany and the making of Britain, along with the concept of allegories and imperialism and the Balkan states. So here we are going to start. So this is the chapter and we are doing the second part. This is the second series of this particular chapter. So let's begin. So let's talk about the unification of the first nation, that is Germany. So the making of Germany and Italy, I'll take Germany first. So before the unification, there was nothing known as Germany, right? The most powerful state here was Prussia, and Prussia took the initiative because it was the most powerful and most of the territories were under Prussian forces. So let's talk about the unification of Germany. So the credit here goes to this person whose image you can see, right? So this is none other than the chief minister of Prussia, who is Otto von Bismarck, right? So he has been given the credit for the unification of German Confederation states. Bismarck, he belonged to a land-owning family of Prussia called Junkers. Now, who were the Junkers? Junkers were the rich landowners of Prussia. And then his policy is known as the policy of blood and iron. Why? Because he took up 3 wars for a period of 7 years. So Bismarck was very clear with his vision that he wanted to create the German nation. And for creating the German nation, he wanted to remove all the foreign influences, all the foreign states which were under Austria and France. So in order to remove them, the best way which he found was his army. He had complete faith over his army and he was also the military general, so he knew the strength very well. And thereupon he came up with the strategy to go for 3 wars against Denmark, Austria and France for 7 years. Right? So here we come in the year 1863-64, he fought the first war and Prussia won it. Second war, again Prussia was the winner and this war is known as Austro-Prussian War because it was fought between Austria and Prussia. The third war is known as Franco-Prussian War, which was fought between 1870-71 and it was fought against France. So the name is Franco-Prussian. So it's very easy. If it is against Austria, then you'll call it as Austro-Prussian War. Against France, it is known as your Franco-Prussian War, fought between 1870 to 71. So moving on to the final efforts of unification. So finally, the Prussian king. The king is King William I. He was proclaimed as the Emperor of Unified Germany after fighting 3 wars for a period of 7 years. Proclamation at the Hall of Mirrors at Versailles on 18 January 1871. So when was the ceremony held? It was on 18 January 1871 and the emphasis was on creating a modern state following modern banking, legal and judicial system. And since Prussia took the initiative for the unification, so Prussia was taken as the model for entire Germany, right? So this is how German Empire was, right? You can see Prussia, the major part is under Prussia and all these states in between, they were with Denmark, France and the third one is your Austria. So Prussia took the lead, defeated all the foreign influences and they created their own German nation after this. Let's talk about the unification of Italy. Now when we talk about Italy, Italy was again divided and it was divided into 7 states. You can see the map of Italy here. Right? So this is the Mediterranean Sea over here. The white color is showing Mediterranean Sea. So Italy was divided into 7 states. So 7 states are, this is your Piedmont and Sardinia, which was with Italian princely house. The second one is your Tuscany, Modena and Parma. These three they were with France. Lombardy and Venetia, they were given to Austria. The center, the red one, it's the papal state, means it was under the Pope, where we have the capital of Italy, that is Rome. And the southern part, the yellow region here, which was known as the Kingdom of Two Sicilies. This was under the Spanish rulers. Okay, the Bourbon Spanish rulers, they had the control over South. So this is how it was all divided into 7 states. So the task was very big. The task was to unify these 7 states together. And since Piedmont and Sardinia was under Italian princely house, so they took the responsibility of the unification of Italy. So when we talk about the early days, right, the initial efforts when we talk about, so here we take the name of a revolutionary, that is a Giuseppe Mazzini. So during 1830s, Mazzini was the person who wanted to create unified Italian republic, right? So you can see the image also of Mazzini. He was a revolutionary. As a young boy, right, he was the member of a secret society known as Carbonari. And later on, he formed 2 more revolutionary societies which were working secretly, known as Young Italy, and the second one was known as Young Europe. So Young Italy in 1830, the revolutionary uprising of 1831 and 1848, they however failed. Right? And Mazzini played a very important role, like the Austrian Chancellor Duke Metternich. He said that this person, Mazzini, right, he is the most dangerous enemy of a social order. So you may get 1 mark question based on it, that for whom it was spoken and by whom. So the most dangerous enemy of a social order is Giuseppe Mazzini. This was spoken by the Austrian Chancellor Duke Metternich, right? And one more important statement was given by Mazzini, that nation states, they are the units of mankind, right? This is the gift which the God has given to the mankind, and nobody can be denied of this right. So this was the view of Mazzini. He was the one who gave the concept of unified Italy. Now moving on to next, that is the King Victor Emmanuel II. He was the king of Sardinia Piedmont zone. He belonged to the Italian princely house, so the responsibility came over him. For this elites of the kingdom, a unified Italy meant possible economic development and political dominance, and this is the King Victor Emmanuel. Now Sardinia Piedmont, so it was under the King Victor Emmanuel, and the chief minister is Count Cavour. Okay, Count Camillo di Cavour is the full name. This is the chief minister of Sardinia Piedmont. He was neither a revolutionary nor a democrat, right? Sardinia Piedmont succeeded in defeating Austrian forces in 1859 and obtained Lombardy and Venetia, right? So basically here, this person, Count Camillo di Cavour, he was a big diplomat, and he was much known to French culture, and he took the advantage of this quality. Later on, he went to France, he took the help, they formed an alliance, and together, like Italian princely house along with France, defeated Austrian forces who were there in north. So this is how Sardinia Piedmont got the control of northern part. Now the second revolutionary. So right now we are studying about the people who have contributed towards the unification. This first was Mazzini, then your Victor Emmanuel, then his chief minister Count Camillo di Cavour, and fourth is again a revolutionary. He is known as Giuseppe Garibaldi. Giuseppe Garibaldi is the follower, he is the student of Giuseppe Mazzini, and he was the member of Young Italy. So in 1860, Emmanuel II and Garibaldi marched into South Italy and the Kingdom of Two Sicilies, right? They drove out the Spanish rulers and they got the control of southern Italy also. And Garibaldi got the support of his Red Shirt army. It was a volunteer army, and there were around 30,000 soldiers in this army. In 1861, King Victor Emmanuel was proclaimed as the king of unified Italy. So this is how it happened in Italy. So this is the map which shows the unification. All right, this is how Italy looked like after unification, right? All these territories were unified. So now let's talk about the views of the Italian public on unification. Majority of the people in Italy, they were illiterate, they could not read or write. Many people were unaware of liberal nationalism. Peasant masses who supported Garibaldi in South Italy had never heard of Italia. Italia is Italy basically. So they even did not hear about it. There was so much of unawareness. And they believed that La Italia was Victor Emmanuel's wife. They felt that everybody is fighting for Italia, Italia. So Italia is something very significant. And they believed that it is the wife of Victor Emmanuel, the king of Italy. Now let's come to the third, that is the third nation state unification of Britain. Right, so before 1707, there was nothing known as United Kingdom or Great Britain. So how it came into existence, we are going to study. Formation of British nation is not a sudden revolution, right? It happened in a very long period of time. So it was a long drawn out process because it took place for over 2 centuries, right? For 2 centuries, this process was spread over 2 centuries. So we call it as long drawn out process. It was in 18th century and it was in 19th century also. So there was nothing known as British nation till 18th century. British Isle comprised 4 ethnic groups. So there were 4 ethnic groups. That is your Welsh of Wales, Scots of Scotland, Irish of Ireland and English of England. They had their own individual culture, their language, their traditions. England steadily grew in wealth, importance and power. So the most powerful state here out of all these 4, that is your Ireland, Scotland and Wales and England, the most powerful everybody knows is England. And it happened because England is rich in resources, and this was finally it became important and powerful because of Industrial Revolution. English Parliament, chief instrument in creation of England-centric nation state. So the credit definitely goes to the English Parliament or the Parliament of England, we can say. So now what is this Act of Union 1707? Right, so this Act of 1707 is basically the formation of United Kingdom in which Scotland was unified with England. Okay, so Scotland was given the proposal that if you wish, you can join England, and Scotland did it happily. So British Parliament dominated by English here, right? So this is your Act of Union 1707, which led to the formation of United Kingdom. Now moving on to what were the effects after United Kingdom was formed. That means they accepted the dominance of England. Then what happened in Scotland? 1707 Act of Union resulted in repression of Scotland's culture. Catholic clans of Scottish Highlands suffered, right? Why? Because England is a Protestant dominating country. Christianity is branched into 2. After the Protestant Reformation, it is branched into 2 as Catholics and Protestants. And England is a Protestant dominating country. So here Catholics, they suffered, okay. Scottish Highlanders, they were forbidden to speak their Gaelic language or to wear their national dress, and several of them forcefully they were driven out of their homeland. And you'll find that many of them, they left Europe and they went and they lived in America thereafter. Okay, so now coming on to the next slide. Fate of Ireland. Now what happened to Ireland, where Irish people they lived? Ireland was again divided between Catholics and Protestants. So that same thing was done, like whatever happened to Scotland was now about to fall on Ireland as well. So here the Catholics, they did not want to join England because they knew what will happen to Catholics, like it happened to the people of the Catholics of Scotland. So they did not want to join it. English helped Irish Protestant to establish their dominance, and Catholic revolts were there, including one by Wolfe Tone, right, in the year 1798. However, it was suppressed. And forcefully, Ireland was also incorporated in the year 1801, okay, in the United Kingdom. So the Catholics, they were totally against joining United Kingdom, but they were forced to do it in 1801. New British nation forged through propagation of dominant English culture, and English culture was forcefully it was like put on the people, right? They were asked to follow it, okay? So this is what it's all about. So this is your Ireland, and today we should know, if we talk about the present Ireland, then present Ireland is divided into Northern Ireland and Republic of Ireland. Republic of Ireland is an independent state. It is not a part of United Kingdom. Okay, and Northern Ireland is a part of United Kingdom. So this is Scotland, this is England, and over here we have Wales. So, and this green region together is known as United Kingdom, Great Britain, whatever you can say. So now after unification, we know England will definitely dominate. So this is the flag of England, Union Jack. Symbols of Britain actively were promoted. British flag, Union Jack was adopted. English national anthem, God Save Our Queen, God Save Our King, it was adopted as national anthem. Older nations remained subordinated in the partners. English language was promoted. So from here you may get 3 marks question. Unifications can come for 5 marks. Write down the stages for the unification of Italy, for Germany, making of Britain, right? So such questions can come for 5 marks, and when they talk about the symbols, so this question can come for 3 marks. Now visualizing the nation. So everybody, this wave of nationalism came, every state was now, they wanted to become a nation state. From modern state, they were becoming nation state. Now the question came how to visualize nation. Alright, nation is basically an abstract idea, so how to give it a concrete form. So the allegories were used. Now what are these allegories? Allegories is the representation of abstract idea, right, or principles through characters or figures. We give any image, when any image is given an idea, and through that image we try to explain it, that is known as an allegory. So the female figures were used to describe the characteristics of a nation, and that is what came to be known as allegory. It is a term used to define the symbolic representation of human behavior or values like equality, fraternity, justice. Okay, so let's come to the allegories of different nations here. First of all, France. So the allegory of France is known as Marion. This is the figure of Marion, as you can see. Okay, in a dress itself, we can see all the 3 colors which are a part of the tricolor flag of France. We have the white color, red color and blue color. In France, the female form was chosen as allegory. It is known as Marion, and it portrays the ideas of liberty and republic. And on one hand, you can see this is a charter of rights. Now moving on to the second nation, that is Germany. The German allegory is known as Germania. So this is Germania, right? You can see the colors on it. She's holding the flag of Germany that has 3 colors again, black, red and golden or yellow color you can say. She is wearing a crown made up of oak leaves. Oak leaves stands for heroism, and then there is a sword in her hand with olive branch around it. So this olive branch around the sword shows that unwilling to have war, right? They want peace, harmony. So this is what is explained here also. Now moving on to, so German allegories. In Germany also female figure was chosen, and we have explained about it. Now this is a very important picture which is there in your books. It is basically showing imperialism, and in the center you can see there is a globe, right? And on the globe is, who is sitting on the globe? This is the allegory of England, right? Or you can say the Great Britain. It is known as Britannia. Fine. And it is shown that Britannia or Britain is dominating the entire world, and all these figures, all right, towards here on the bottom and everywhere, they are depicting the countries of Africa and Asia. Okay, now moving on to the next one. Let's have a look at the next slide. So nationalism and imperialism, right? So when we talk about nationalism and imperialism, so nationalism is when you have love and loyalty towards your country, patriotism, and imperialism is a total negative term. It basically believes that if you love your country, you need to expand the boundaries of your nation at the cost of others. So that's not good. It's basically the greed which came in Europe in the form of imperialism. That is, you are subjugating some other territory, you are bringing some other territory under your control. So European past manipulated the nationalist sentiments of the people. They fueled nationalist feeling to fulfill their own imperialist aims. Existence of intense rivalry. Alright, so that is what made everybody enemy of each other, because they all wanted power, and for the power they were looking for more and more territories, and they were bringing new states under their territory. So first they started in Europe. They were trying to bring the weaker states under their control, and these big states were like Europe, France, Britain, and then later on they went to other continents like Asia and Africa. Now let's move on to the next slide. So definition of imperialism, very important. You all must learn this definition by heart. Okay, right? So this is imperialism in Asia during 1914. All right, all the territories, okay, which were controlled by Europeans. India happened to be the part of England, right? What all was covered by France, okay, then United States, Japan, all right, the states which were independent. So these all have been shown here on this map. So let's look at the definition of imperialism. Imperialism is a policy or ideology of extending the rule or authority of a country over other countries and people, often by military or by gaining political and economic control. So in simple words, we can say that imperialism is subjugation, when you are bringing somebody under your control and then you are ruling them politically also, socially also, and even economically. So that is imperialism. So now let's move ahead. The Balkan crisis. So Balkan region is a region where we can say from where the First World War started. Now what is this Balkan region? So the Balkan region is the southern part of Europe, right? It is the southern part of Europe, the area around the Mediterranean Sea, and it was under the control of Muslim Empire, that is Ottoman Empire, which was in Turkey. So the most serious source of nationalist tension, it was seen in Europe, right? Okay, that is after 1871. Balkan, what is Balkan? Definition of Balkan. It is a geographical and ethnic variation. Okay, it's a part of Europe only. And modern day, it consists of these states: Romania, Bulgaria, Albania, Greece, Macedonia, Croatia, Bosnia, Herzegovina, Slovenia, Serbia, and Montenegro, right? And the inhabitants, the people who lived in Balkan region were known as Slavs. So very important, you must know what is the meaning of Balkan state, who controlled it. It was controlled by Ottoman Empire, and the natives, the people who lived in these states, they were known as Slavs, right? So now moving on to the next part. So this is the entire Balkan region, right? So this is basically your Mediterranean Sea over here, and this portion is the Adriatic Sea. Over here we have Italy, and this entire region was under Balkan state. Balkan state was the Muslim rule, and the center of this rule was your Turkey, right? Istanbul, the capital. So one by one, Ottoman Empire's European subjects broke away from its control and declared independence. Means the Ottoman Empire was becoming weak. So all these states, one by one, they were also affected by the feelings of nationalism, and they were also claiming for their independence, right? So territories occupied by Balkan nations in the Ottoman Empire: Albania, Montenegro, Serbia, Bulgaria, Turkey, Greece. We have already discussed about it, right? So here we have seen that how Balkan crisis it came because all these states, they were claiming for their independence, right? So with this, we have come to an end of the second part of this series of chapter number 1, History Class 10, The Rise of Nationalism in Europe, where I have given you the important points, right? They will be helpful for you for your revision time. So with this, I wish you all the best, okay? And we are eagerly waiting for your feedback, your valuable comments. So do like, share, subscribe, and keep watching us. Thank you, everyone.